Hello, all of you. I must say that I'm really loving seeing you on Thursdays when we get together for Clap for Heroes. It's so lovely to see you because I've missed you all. But today I'm going to do, in our theory and our recorder today, we're going to have another look at legatos and ties. And also I'm going to introduce you to a new note on the recorder. So all sorts of exciting things today. Now, I've just done a little bit of drawing on my board, so I'm going to move away so you can see it. Now, remember that when you've got a legato phrase, we use this symbol of the smiley shape or the sort of upside down frowny shape, whatever you want to call it, but this arc, like a rainbow that spans the notes. If the notes are moving like they are there, then we have to make the sound go through all the notes. We don't separate them out. So, for instance, I've done a little pattern here and it goes like this. I'm going to play it first. Now, could you hear that there was a break here? But there was no sound of my tongue. If we do it without that little legato phrase, it would sound like this. Could you hear how it was slightly broken up? Well, with the legato phrase makes it very smooth. La, la. What I've done is I've written choo-choo here, as if it was a train sound. So it would go choo, choo. So it wouldn't go choo, 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 choo. If we didn't have those legato signs on it, we'd have to do it like that, like I just did it. But having the legato sign makes it smooth. Now, but we can also use that same symbol of that sign if the notes do not move. And remember, that's a tie. And in music, when you have a tie, it's like a plus sign in numeracy. In other words, you just add the two numbers together and they become a greater number. So in music, when you have a tie, which can only be when the note is in the same place, then the sound becomes joined together and it becomes a longer sound. So let's see now. Supposing this train was coming down the track and it was going to put the brakes on. See, it's getting slower because those are da, 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 da. And now it's slowing really down. So we're going to put the brake on and it's got to last for 8 beats. Ooh, goodness. Actually, no, I tell you what, let's make it a bit more fun. Let's start with having a G for 4 beats. So it gets slower. So that would be a semi-breve. And then that's a full bar. And then let's have an A for 8 beats. So it's getting slower and slower and slower until it stops. Well, we do not have an 8-beat note, but remember that we can tie the notes together to add up to 8 beats so that we play a sound that lasts for 8 beats. So we don't separate them, remember. So we can do that by putting another 4 beats there in the same place, must be in the same place, otherwise it's legato. And we put that over there, and that tells us that those two are not separated. Even though the bar line is there, we do not stop the sound. The sound continues all through that bar, all onto that bar, until we get to the very end of the track. All right, so now this tune would sound like this. Oh, sorry, I did it wrong, didn't I? Because I didn't do legato. Right, now, that was the deliberate mistake. I'm going to do it legato. Did you hear I had to take a big breath there? Now, to show a breath in music, we do a little tick sign like that. Now, I would also actually put a little tick sign there because you don't want to run out of breath when you get onto that long note there. Now, because you might hear a little noise, I feel like I need to introduce you to somebody. So just 1 second. Come here. Oops. Oh, he's gone. It's my little Toby dog. He's gone. Right, so I'm going to close the door now, but he scuttled in and I thought, oh, you might wonder what that noise is. Right, so let's go back to this now. So that is a legato phrase. This also is a legato phrase. That's just one long note on its own, a semi-brief. But here we have a tie, which means that we're adding this note and this note together. We do not separate the sounds, which means that it's going to sound like it's 8 beats long. Okay, so we've got choo, 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 choo. And then the train has stopped. Okay. Very good. Now, I hope you have good fun trying that. You can either sing along to it or you can play it, because I've deliberately done notes you're very, very good at. So we've got G and A only there. But now we are going to turn to our recorder. So I'm going to pause my video for a moment and take my board down and move my screen so you'll be able to see my fingers. So you go and get your record. You pause the video now as well, and you go and get your recorder. Okay, so I'm back again and I've got my recorder, and we're going to turn to page 16. Remember, it's in a little blob at the top, music set 5, and we're going to look at letter D. Now, D is below the stave, in that space just below the stave. Remember that the coloured in blobs, or the black blobs, signify that our fingers are covering those holes. So we've got our thumb on the thumb hole at the back, our left hand at the top. Then we have Peter Pointer, Toby Tall, and Ruby Ring in our left hand. They're all down. Then in our right hand, we have Peter Pointer, Toby Tall, and Ruby Ring. Now you might say, why on earth is that blob so huge, Janie? Well, I'm going to show you. Because on the recorder, can you see? I'm going to just turn that to the light. Hopefully you can see it better. This one has got quite a big scoop. If I turn it sideways on, can you see it's got quite a big scoop there? And if you look at it, it's got 2 little holes in it, not one. In fact, if you look at the recorder, the holes are not all the same size going up and down. But these 2, one is a little bit lower down, one is a little bit higher up, and this one is a little bit smaller than this one. And the reason that there's 2 holes there, and also if you look at the very bottom of your recorder, we haven't done this note yet. It's really difficult to play, and because your hands are quite little, I've avoided it. But there's 2, exactly the same thing. We've got this little scoop, and we've got the 2 little holes. Now, if we cover that one up, that's for playing a middle C. If we cover up both of those little ones there, that is for a D. But if you only cover one of them, you will not get a D. So listen. Oh, I'm hoping that you can see all my fingers. Oh dear, that sounded awful. That's with both of them covered, and then this is with only one of them covered. So when only one of them is covered, it's a D sharp. It's ever so slightly higher. Do you remember we've done sharps and flats? So that is why it's showing that as such a huge big ball there. It's because your fingers have to cover both of the little holes. Okay, so let's just try that again. So I want you to start at the top on a B, then A, then G, then F, then E, and then D. Now, if it's easier, just forget about the F and just go to the E, because you're really good at doing the E now, and then just play the D. But please make sure you've covered all the holes properly, because if you haven't, you will not make the right noise. So you have to make sure, if you don't play the right sound, don't be worried about it and don't get cross with yourself. You know, this is really, it's very difficult to play a recorder properly. I mean, you could hear I've been playing it for a long time and I was playing it so slowly I didn't cover the holes properly, but I adjusted and then I did. So, you know, it's just one of, you have to practice. And if you've done it wrong, I mean, I could tell straight away what I did wrong, so I didn't need to look at my fingers. But if you have done it wrong, take the recorder out of your mouth, check your fingers. Don't move your fingers off, because then you don't know what you've done wrong. Leave your fingers where they were and check them and go, oh, right, yes, I know, I didn't. Okay, and try again. So this is what a D should sound like. If it doesn't sound like that, it's because something's not covered properly. Now, I'm now going to move this finger ever so slightly off the hole. All right, now listen. Completely changes the sound. So I have to make sure it's back on there properly now and do it again. Well, I hope you could see that I was wiggling my fingers around, so you could see that you have to have them on properly. And if you're playing the recorder properly, you will get shapes on your fingers like that from them pressing into the little holes. Okay? That's normal. And if you haven't got those, if your finger hasn't completely covered the hole, then obviously you won't have a proper circle on your finger. So I can't get it into the camera. Can you see I've got a proper circle on my finger there? So that's what you have to do. Oh, here he comes again. Now, so he says, I've been down here too long and he's brought the ball. He wants me to play with him. So that sound that you can hear is the ball. Anyway, if you would like to have a go at playing the rhythm at the bottom of the page, please do have a go at that, because it's all D. So I want rhythm piece 5. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my music like that, so you can see me looking at my music, but I'm going to hold my recorder and so that you can see my fingers. And I'm just going to tip this a bit more. Right, just a minute. And so you can see me playing this and you can hear. So I'm going to tap with my foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was all of the patterns I just went through. 1, 2, 3, and 4, one after the other. So you have a go at that. and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Loads of love, and I hope to see you on Thursday. Bye.